I know Jam got that shit. Jam, what you got on you, blood? Hey Jam, what you got on you? I know you got that dog.
So here's where things get crazy. The FBI is saying that Lil Durk might be involved in a murder for hire plot that goes all the way back to a shooting in Beverly Hills in 2022. It was a broad daylight attack at a gas station, and sadly, Savia Robinson, Quando Rondo's cousin, lost her life. But here's the wild part: Savia wasn't even the intended target. According to prosecutors, the real target was Quando Rondo himself, and now the FBI is looking for 3 people involved in the attack. They're still on the run, and the whole thing has taken some crazy turns. But it doesn't stop there. Lil Durk is now facing some serious charges. They say he put the hit out on Quando Rondo, which ended up taking his cousin's life instead. Apparently, this whole thing has been brewing for years. Authorities have uncovered a network of secret transactions and flight records that linked Durk's crew to this attack. Oh, and get this, there's word that an OTF insider was wearing a wire for years, helping investigators connect the dots. Now, with some of Durk's team behind bars, they're reportedly turning on each other, trying to cut deals to get a lighter sentence. So what started all this? Why would Durk order such a dangerous hit? Well, it all goes back to November 2020, when King Von Durk's close friend was killed in a shooting outside a club in Atlanta. King Von's crew had a run-in with Quando Rondo's group, and things escalated quickly. Gunshots rang out, and sadly, King Von didn't make it. It was a devastating loss for Durk, and it seemed like the tension between him and Quando just kept building. Then, Quando dropped a song called End of Story, where he rapped about the whole situation with King Von. A lot of people took it as him taunting Durk, and it only fueled the rivalry. Around the same time, Quando's shows started getting canceled, and many people thought Durk was behind it, using his influence to make things difficult for his rival. Leaked texts between Durk and Quando later revealed just how deep the tension between them had really gotten. The messages offered a raw, unfiltered glimpse into their fractured relationship and showed just how far things had gone. Quando, clearly frustrated, reached out to Durk in an attempt to clear the air. He wanted to resolve whatever had happened between them, trying to bring back some semblance of peace to their complicated situation. However, it became clear that Durk wasn't interested in reconciliation. Rather than trying to mend their relationship, it seems Durk's focus was on taking further action. In fact, sources close to the situation claim that Durk allegedly went as far as offering a bounty to anyone who could take out Quando. According to these reports, Durk promised significant rewards, including music deals with OTF Only the Family, which was a powerful incentive given the weight of OTF's influence in the industry. This revelation only deepened the divide between the two rappers and added another layer of tension to an already volatile situation. At this point, it was no longer just about personal animosities, it was about business and the intense loyalty that comes with it. OTF, which had been Durk's empire, was at stake, and anyone threatening that status was seen as a target. Fast forward to August 2022, and things seemed to escalate even further. Durk's crew reportedly was shadowing Quando and his cousin Savia for hours while they were in Los Angeles. This wasn't just a casual encounter, it was a calculated, deliberate pursuit. When you're in the game that Durk and Quando are in, it's common for tensions to boil over. But this kind of behavior following someone for hours is an indication of just how personal the situation had become. It wasn't just about street politics or rivalries anymore, it was a matter of pride, trust, and power dynamics within the rap industry. For Quando, the situation became more than just professional, it became life-threatening. He had always been vocal about the pressures he faced, but this new level of aggression from Durk's crew signaled a shift in the danger surrounding him. It wasn't only about the competition for chart-topping music or social media dominance, it was about survival in an environment where one misstep could cost you everything. For Durk, the decision to allegedly put a bounty on Quando and escalate the conflict to such dangerous levels could be seen as a desperate attempt to assert control over a situation that was spiraling out of his grasp. As the leader of OTF, Durk's reputation and influence were on the line. He had worked his entire career to establish himself as a force in the rap world, and any threat to his empire had to be dealt with swiftly and decisively. But the cost of this approach was high, and it raised the stakes not only for his personal safety but also for the future of his career and the relationships that had once seemed unbreakable. In the days that followed, rumors began to swirl about the tension between Durk and Quando spilling over into the public eye, with fans on both sides of the fence drawing lines in the sand. While some fans were loyal to Durk and saw his actions as necessary in the ruthless world of hip-hop, others sympathized with Quando, seeing him as a victim of the street politics that had grown out of control. The situation had become a spectacle, and it seemed like there was no turning back for either of them. It's worth considering the broader implications of this feud. What does it say about the world of rap, where business deals, loyalty, and street affiliations can dictate not only the success of an artist but also their safety and mental well-being? Durk and Quando's feud, once a private matter, had now become an open war, and as the battle between the two grew more intense, it was clear that the stakes were no longer just about music, it was about survival in a world where trust is fleeting, and every move counts. They tracked him to a gas station, opened fire, but tragically hit Xavier instead of Quando. Now, with Durk facing a whole list of charges, including conspiracy and murder for hire, the big question is what's next for his career and legacy. Fans and critics are all wondering how deep this feud really goes and whether Durk will be able to survive what's coming next. It's a wild story and it's far from over.
Right now, the search is on for 3 people who police say shot at a Savannah rapper, a member of his entourage. It happened in Los Angeles.
Okay, so here's where it gets wild. Despite everything, the guys involved still got paid for the job, thanks to Lil Durk, and they headed back home like it was just another day. But here's the twist: bank and flight records show that an OTF member and one of Durk's close associates were behind the whole thing, organizing flights for 5 co-conspirators from Chicago to California, all the way up to the day before the incident. And around the same time those one-way flights were booked, Durk told his crew, "Don't book anything under names connected to Sick Me." Guess what? The same day the guys flew out from Chicago, Durk himself was on a private jet heading to California with 2 of his guys, Kevon London Grant, aka Cuz, and DeAndre Dell Wilson, aka Dud. Fast forward to the arrests, and the authorities catch up with DeKeith Jones, aka Flacca, David Brian Lindsay, aka Brown Eyes, and Asa Houston, aka Boogie, all of them charged with the crime. But here's the kicker: Lil Durk was nowhere near the scene when they were arrested. However, once he caught wind of what was going down, he wasn't wasting any time. He had 3 flights booked to Italy, Switzerland, and Dubai. Unfortunately for him, the authorities were already one step ahead. They caught him near Miami, slapped the cuffs on him, and boom, it was all over. His arrest blew up in the headlines, and it didn't just affect Durk. Now, here's the thing: Durk made a $150,000 donation to Chicago Mayor Johnson's campaign right after he took office, and people started saying the mayor should give the money back. But Mayor Johnson kept it cool, saying he didn't know much about the charges against Durk. He did mention that Durk had been focusing on helping kids in the city, especially with financial literacy. Durk ran a nonprofit called Neighborhood Heroes, but even the Chicago Tribune said the mayor should probably return the money to avoid getting tangled up in this mess. Oh, and the city of Broadview even took back Durk's key to the city, which they gave him just a week before the arrest. Now, everyone's wondering, how did they actually crack this case? Well, it turns out there was a mole. OTF member Jam, who had been sentenced to 22 years for taking someone out, struck a deal with the feds after being released in 2022. He wore a wire for years and got the evidence that led to Durk's arrest. Here's the thing though, when Jam got out, he actually thanked Durk for helping him survive prison. He said, "I remember when the money came through, Durk made sure I had what I needed." But it gets worse for Durk. After his arrest, things took a serious turn when a leaked video surfaced showing Jam flaunting a tracking device. This revelation sent shockwaves through Durk's circle, and it's clear that the situation is now spiraling out of control. Jam, once seen as a part of Durk's inner circle, has betrayed that trust in a way that's hard to come back from. The video showed Jam proudly displaying the device, which can only be interpreted as an attempt to throw Durk under the bus and secure his own safety, likely in exchange for cooperation with authorities. In the world of street loyalty, this is a line that should never be crossed. Durk's friends and associates, including people like King Yella, are absolutely livid. The idea that someone so close to Durk would turn against him in such a public, obvious manner is a tough pill to swallow. It's not just about the betrayal itself, but the timing when Durk is already facing serious legal trouble. Someone who was supposed to have his back goes out of their way to make things worse. The backlash is predictable. King Yella, a longtime friend of Durk, has been vocal about his disgust with Jam's actions. It's one thing to have someone turn on you from the outside, but for it to happen from within your own camp. That's the kind of betrayal that stings the hardest. Yella's anger is understandable, especially since he knows firsthand how the streets operate and the unspoken rules that come with loyalty. At this point, it's clear that Durk's circle is fractured, and this backstabbing situation could have been completely avoided if Jam had just kept his loyalty intact. The entire ordeal has only complicated Durk's already challenging situation, and the question remains, how does Durk move forward from this? Will he be able to rebuild his trust in those around him, or is the damage too deep to repair? The situation is far from over, and things could get much worse before they get better.
It's surprising. I think it was, very sad. Certainly, did people
Alright, so if you thought things couldn't get crazier for Lil Durk, think again. There's some wild stuff going on right now, and trust me, it's way more intense than we expected. This isn't just about the music or the fame, it's a whole different level of loyalty, betrayal, and even danger. Let's break it down. So a few days ago, on November 4th, a Twitter user named El Rico posted something that sent fans into a frenzy. The tweet said, "OTF Jam fatally shot and killed," and there was a video showing a car with broken windows and bullet holes. It went viral pretty fast, with people thinking that Lil Durk's crew was finally getting payback on OTF Jam for allegedly snitching on their boss. Now, considering the tensions in Durk's circle and how serious these kinds of accusations can be, people were obviously freaking out. But here's the thing, it turns out this whole thing was just a rumor. The video was real, sure, but it had nothing to do with OTF Jam. It was from an older YouTube video titled 16-year-old drill rapper CJ Rella fatally shot in Harlem. So, no, it wasn't Jam who got shot, but honestly, given how things are going, Jam might want to lay low for a bit. The situation's still pretty heated, even if the news wasn't true. And it's not just about the crew either. Fans in Ghana have been rallying for Jam's freedom, wearing OTF shirts and holding signs, taking to the streets in a pretty big way. But even though it's a show of support, it doesn't exactly make things safer for Jam, especially with all the rumors flying around. What's wild is that Jam wasn't even mentioned in the recent indictment, so the mole in all of this is still unknown. As of now, the person in real trouble is actually Lil Durk, who's facing some serious charges. Some are even talking about life in prison or worse, but for now, Durk is staying positive, at least on the outside. Word on the street is he's keeping his head up and getting along just fine with the staff and other inmates at FDC Miami. Here's where it gets interesting. People who know Durk say he's got a real charm about him. He's not the angry, bitter type you might expect behind bars. In fact, he's reportedly handling things pretty well, and he's not planning to plead guilty. He's determined to fight this case, and to be fair, it seems like he's serious about it. He even made a surprise appearance in Hypno Caro's new track that dropped on November 1st, 2024. The track features a phone call with Durk from prison, where he gives fans a little insight into how he's holding up. It's clear he's not backing down anytime soon, but it's not just Durk dealing with this crazy situation. Quando Rondo also dropped a new track, Life Goes On, where he reflects on his past losses and talks about leaving the street life behind. He even posted something on Instagram about it, saying, "We didn't get into this music industry to make it just to stay caught up in street stuff. We all have families and communities counting on us. It's time to leave all that behind. We've already lost so much, and it's heavy on my heart to forgive anyone I had issues with in the past. It's all love from me, praying for everyone. That's some real stuff right there." Rondo's been through his share of pain, and now he's talking about letting go of old grudges and moving forward. Can Durk take the same route? Is he ready to leave behind the chaos of the streets and focus on something bigger, something better for himself and his family? As for Durk, the legal battle is far from over. He's facing some serious charges and things are looking pretty heavy. The court appearances have started and the stakes are high. If convicted, this could change everything for him, his career, his freedom, his life. But can he fight through all this and come out on top? His fans are sticking by him, but this is a different kind of situation. This isn't just another legal battle. This is bigger. What do you think? How do you see this playing out? Will Durk beat the charges and come back stronger, or is this the end of the road for him in OTF? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think Durk's charm and positivity are enough to overcome all this, or is he in too deep? And what about the fans? How do you think they'll react if things go south? Let's talk about it. I want to hear your thoughts. When you listen to Quando Rondo's latest track, Life Goes On, you can't help but feel the weight of everything he's been through. It's one of those songs that really makes you stop and think. In a world where the streets can take so much from you, Rondo's message is clear. It's time to leave that life behind. There's something really powerful about how he speaks on his losses, his experiences, and how he's choosing to heal. Moving on isn't easy, especially when your past is filled with as much turmoil as his. But there's a real sense of maturity in his music now. He's not just talking about surviving, he's talking about rising above. This message of forgiveness and moving forward really resonates, especially when we consider everything that's happening in the drill scene right now. Drill music has always been a reflection of the streets, raw and unfiltered, capturing the pain, struggles, and realities that so many young people face. But it's also a genre that's come under fire for its association with violence and gang culture. That's the backdrop against which artists like Quando Rondo and Lil Durk are trying to build their legacies. So when someone like Rondo starts to talk about forgiveness, about letting go of grudges and looking ahead, it's a powerful statement. It makes you wonder if this shift in his mindset could be a sign of bigger changes coming for him, not just musically, but personally. He's been through a lot, and his words offer a glimpse into how he's processing it all. But let's not forget about Lil Durk. The real question here is what happens next for him. Things have been looking pretty grim for Durk lately. And despite his best efforts to stay positive, he's facing some serious challenges. His legal situation is no joke. He's not out of the woods yet by any means, and the next few months are going to be crucial. The weight of the charges against him, the drama with his crew, and the pressure from the streets are all things that can't be ignored. This is different from being a rapper who deals with fame's ups and downs. This is a matter of freedom and legacy. This is life or death for Durk, both literally and figuratively. So let's break it down a bit more, because this isn't just about Durk. This situation has ripple effects that could impact everyone in his circle, the drill scene as a whole, and his fans who have been riding with him through thick and thin. Durk is not just a rapper, he's a symbol to so many people. He represents success coming from nothing, survival in a world where so many don't make it out, and the harsh realities of life in Chicago. His story is one of overcoming obstacles and defying the odds, but right now he's facing his toughest battle yet. The legal battle he's embroiled in is nothing short of life-altering. If convicted, Durk could face significant prison time, and some are even speculating about a life sentence. The stakes couldn't be higher. When you look at it from the outside, it almost feels surreal. Durk is at the top of his game with millions of fans, chart-topping songs, and a huge presence in the music world, yet he's caught in a fight that could strip all of that away. But here's the thing, Durk is still fighting. He's not backing down. People close to him say he's staying positive, keeping his head up, and pushing forward even while behind bars. According to reports, he's been getting along with other inmates and even the staff at the FDC in Miami. It's almost like he's using this time to reflect, to keep his mind sharp, and to figure out his next move. Durk is known for his resilience. He's been through some of the toughest times already, and while this situation is different, he's not the type to give up easily. In fact, Durk's attitude toward the whole situation is actually quite surprising. Despite the severity of the charges, he's staying upbeat and determined to fight. According to people close to him, Durk has made it clear that he's not going to plead guilty. He's gearing up for a legal battle, one that will likely be long, grueling, and filled with twists and turns. And while many might expect him to cave under the pressure, Durk's focus seems to be stronger than ever. He's not just sitting back and letting things happen to him. He's actively trying to shape his future, both in and out of the courtroom. It's this fighting spirit that has made Durk such a beloved figure among his fans. They see him as more than just a rapper. They see him as someone who represents survival, authenticity, and loyalty. His fans know that Durk has been through hell and back, and that makes them even more invested in his journey. They don't just want him to succeed, they want him to prove the haters wrong. They want to see him come out on top, even when everything seems stacked against him. Durk's determination to stay positive and fight back is also reflected in his music. Despite being behind bars, he hasn't been silent. In fact, he's been using his platform in unexpected ways. One of the most significant moves was his feature in Hypnocaro's track, which dropped on November 1st, 2024. The song includes a phone call from Durk himself, where he talks about his current situation, the importance of staying focused, and the strength he's found in the face of adversity. It's a raw and real moment, giving fans a glimpse into Durk's mindset during one of the toughest times of his life. That kind of transparency is something fans really appreciate because it shows that Durk isn't just a celebrity, he's a real person going through real struggles. What makes Durk's story even more complicated is the way it ties into the larger narrative of drill music and its place in the world. Drill as a genre has always been controversial. Some people see it as a reflection of the violence and hardships that many young people face in the streets, while others argue that it glorifies that same violence. It's clear that Durk's music has been deeply influenced by his life and the world around him. His lyrics speak to the pain, the struggle, and the sense of betrayal that comes with the streets. But as he grows as an artist, there's also this sense that he's trying to move past that. He's trying to transcend the chaos and find something more meaningful. Is Durk ready to leave the streets behind like Quando Rondo is trying to do, or is he too far in to escape the life that made him who he is? That's a question only he can answer, but it's one that's weighing heavily on fans. The drill scene, for all its power and influence, is often a place where redemption is difficult to find. It's a place where loyalty and betrayal are in constant tension and the stakes are always high. But that's also what makes artists like Durk so compelling. They live in that tension and their music captures it all. The legal drama, the street battles, the loyalty, the fame, it all mixes together in a way that's both captivating and tragic. And yet, Durk continues to be a force in the music industry. He's not letting go of the dream that got him to where he is. He's still pushing forward, hoping for a future where he can be free to make the music he loves, connect with his fans, and continue his journey. But what will that future look like? Will he be able to rise above the chaos, or will the consequences of his past actions catch up with him? As for his fans, they're holding their breath. They're on this roller coaster ride with him, and they're hoping for the best. But as things unfold, they're also wondering what happens if things go wrong. What happens if Durk can't fight his way out of this one? What happens if the worst-case scenario becomes a reality? It's a tough situation, and it's one that could have a major impact not just on Durk's career but on the entire drill scene. Durk is one of drill music's most influential artists, and his fate may change the genre. We don't know. But no matter what happens, Durk's legacy is already cemented. He's proven time and time again that he's not afraid to face the hardest challenges head on. Whether he can overcome this one remains to be seen, but the journey is far from over. So what do you think? Will Durk come out on top, or is this the end of the road for him? Is he done with the streets, or will the streets pull him back in? And how will his fans react to whatever happens next? Let's keep the conversation going. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. What's your take on everything going down in the drill scene right now? Are you Team Durk, or do you think he's in too deep to escape what's coming? And don't forget to check out Quando Rondo's new track too. His message of leaving the streets behind is something we all need to hear, especially with everything going on in the rap world right now. His journey might look different from Durk's, but the struggles they face are all too familiar. It reminds us that forgiveness, growth, and moving on are possible wherever we are, but we must choose.